What's up, classic Thundercats fans? This is Wesatron. Today we're going to look at Thundercats Classic Lion-O by Bandai America. This is the new 6-inch version. Pretty much looks identical in sculpt to the 8-inch version, save for the new head, possibly some articulation changes. But I'm going to give you a quick look at the packaging. It's very cool. Bandai is doing this really neat thing with putting the name down the side here. It looks very cool. Kind of a little more streamlined. I mean, they use probably the same amount of plastic, I guess, as most places. It just, since it's so narrow, it doesn't seem like such a waste. Very cool Thundercats logo in the background there, if you can see that. It's kind of almost fiery. You can see the full length of the figure, the swords, extra hands down here. There's a couple of more accessories down here, but it says 18 points of articulation on the side. It's got, I guess, sort of an interpretation. It's almost like an animated, like a Batman animated series type thing version of Lion-O from the old show. Looks cool. Thundercats Ho, ages 4 and up. It says up here, and on the back it says create action poses. So if you didn't know what an action figure was, there you go. It shows you how to use the extra hands and swords and whatnot. And here's more pictures of the upcoming characters. There's Mumm-Ra, I'll be reviewing him as well. Tigra and Cheetara from the new series, who's unfortunately a little under-articulated compared to these other guys, but we'll get to that once she actually is released. Figure looks great. There's no actual explanation for his character. It just says some generic stuff about the show. Yeah, let's get him out of package and see how he stands up to the 8-inch. So here's Classics Lion-O out of packaging, and as you can see, he's very similar in articulation to the 8-inch version. So he can get those really cool dynamic poses, just like the big guy. Very cool. I'm into this guy. As you can see, his sword, there's his hand. His sword still suffers from the same problem as the non-SDCC version of Lion-O. It comes in the package warped. Not great. You still got this action going on. It's not as bad. It doesn't seem like it's going to fold under its own weight like the larger version, but see if I can get that to focus. But it's still definitely got a lot of give to it. As you can see, one of the features has already been shown by accident here. He does have swappable hands. So he comes with a left holding things hand. His, goodness gracious, these parts are little. He's got a tiny little open hand, which is the one he's packaged with. I just already swapped so he could hold the sword. Nice detail. You can actually see his claws. Same for the other side. He also comes with his pre-warped little dagger of omens, I guess you could call it, which has a little paint effect there, but for the most part the accessories are painted just fine. Yeah, I'm going to have to see if I can fix that at all, or just put it permanently in his glove like the other one. And here's the ball joint to hang his glove from his side, if you so choose. So cool accessories, pretty much identical to what the 8-inch version has. Articulation has changed slightly on this figure. The head no longer has the ball joint in the head and the neck hinge as well. Now he has only got a ball joint, and it has very, very minimal movement. I mean, it's pretty good left to right. Yeah, it'll go all the way around. But up and down is very minimal, so that's a bit of a shame. Arms out to the sides, that far. Swivel in the biceps. Hinged elbows go up to just past 90 degrees. And they've also changed, instead of the Revoltech style wrists, now they've got just a simple ball wrist. Come on, focus. So it's easy to swap the hands out, but it definitely doesn't have the same range of motion as the larger figure does. His ab hinge is pretty much useless, I would say. I'm not really getting much of anything out of it. It just feels really stiff, almost like there's a joint that wants to move but can't. Like you can move it, but you see it just moves right back. So that's kind of a bummer. He's still got that same cool ball jointed midsection, which is very handy because you can get him in all kinds of like nice twisty poses and whatnot. Oh, he's got some side to side motion up here. Okay, that's nice. Maybe that's why it feels like it couldn't move. Swivel hinge in the legs, like that, out to there. So pretty good range there. Swivel thighs. Double hinge knees, just like the 8-inch, with a good range. Swivel boot tops. Hinged ankles. And of course, my favorite, the rocker ankles. So he can take very deep stances and still look, normal. So like, you can put him all the way out like this, and his feet will be flat. So he actually looks like he's pulling off this pose and not a toy pulling off this pose, which is very cool. The forward motion on the ankles is pretty good. So you can also get him in deep crouching poses if you splay his legs. You might have to play with the boot swivels to get it exactly where you want, but he can do these poses, I promise. And look incredibly awkward doing it. There we go. So you can make it probably look a lot better than I am. Make him look like he's trying to poop without touching his butt to the toilet. Oh! So, yeah. Detail-wise, he's he's still got the claw shield, which can be swapped out. And of course, the sword or the dagger can slide right. If you can see that, there's a little groove. It slides right in. Looks great. And you can swap out the hands, or if you choose, or rather, after you've swapped out the hands, you can plug him in to this little guy, this ball joint here, which this is very, very rigid plastic right here. So do be careful with this when you're trying to get out of the package and when you're trying to lock it into the glove. Although I do have to say it seems like it snaps on a little more easily than the 8-inch. Then he's got a little hole right here on the side of his belt. You just pop this tab into the hole if you're not awful at things. There we go. And then put on a replacement hand so he doesn't look like a freak. And hope that your camera focuses. Focus. There we go. And it looks kind of silly because it's so large and out to the side. But, it was the thought that counts, I guess. I would have liked to have a flatter one that fit against his body, but you can't have everything. And the screaming face isn't nearly as bad as it looked in pictures also. It definitely doesn't feel like Lion-O, but the sculpt is good enough. Like, it just, you never really saw Lion-O get, I don't know, all rage face on stuff. He made mistakes, but he was always, fairly level-headed. As opposed to the new Lion-O, who just is mad all the time and makes mistakes every episode. But, yeah, figure is very cool. He does come with a set of instructions, which are your basic Bandai instructions, like it'll tell you how to pop hands off and how to put swords in hands and stuff. Pretty simple stuff. The only really helpful thing was probably how to use the glove as a sheath. If there are parents who are silly enough to buy these for their kids, even though it's not a cartoon anymore, then that would be helpful. Overall, this guy is very nice. I'm digging him. I've got the 8-inch version right here, so we can take a look. Wow, very big difference in size. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull off a little bit. Huge difference in size. I mean, wow. The 8-inch is far more detailed, far more... He just feels like a better toy, honestly. I'm really going to miss the 8-inch figures. I do hope that Bandai sticks with what it said about trying to get out the rest of the 8-inch figures, but we'll see. So that's 8-inch him. Here's he with the here's Lino with the 6-inch modern Lino, which some people have complained about why this Lino looks so short, but he's not quite an adult yet. He's still a teenager, so he would look a little shorter. And let's get him over to the side. So many Linos. Here is Mumm-Ra, the ever-living, in the 6-inch scale, which luckily he is much larger than Lino, so probably about a head taller, I would say, which is good. It makes him makes the scale seem a little more accurate. I'm into it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess let me go ahead and pull out a regular 6-inch figure so you can see, because Lino is a bit on the short side even for 6-inch figures. This is a DCUC Jonah Hex. So you can see, I mean, he only comes up to about maybe nose line with Jonah. So it's definitely on the short side of figures. He is going to look out of place with your Masters of the Universe, I'm telling you right now. Everybody's real excited about Masters of the Universe. Let me grab He-Man over here. Everybody was just dying to put it with Masters of the Universe, but you gotta know that, you know, He-Man is huge compared to him. I mean, you know, height-wise, he's got a lot of height on him. Let me stand him up all the way. But also just girth. I mean, He-Man is enormous compared to Lino. It makes Lino look like a pipsqueak. And I know you Thundercats fans don't want to hear that. So, anyway, it's a good figure. I picked this up for $14.99 at my local Target. You know, he's pretty much the 8-inch figure. You've got the 8-inch figure, you've got him with a new head. So, I don't know if they're going to release another version with the closed mouth head, or if they're going to repaint it. I have no idea. It's a good toy. I already own it. I'm not really sure why I bought it again, but thanks. You guys have a good one.